Hello, welcome everybody for joining. Thank you for joining today's webinar. I want to give you all a very warm welcome. Let us just wait for a few seconds so that everybody who subscribed for today has the opportunity to join in. And then we'll get started right away. Please let me know in the chat if you can all hear me well and if you can see me well, so then I know that all the technicalities are working properly. Just feel free to send up a thumbs up or a short message in the chat so that we know. And then I'll start sharing my screen and we can get started. All right. So then again, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. Today we'll be hosting a webinar, which will be a collective onboarding, providing you information about how to get the most out of your Leadinfo account. So my name is Devi. I'm a customer success manager at Leadinfo. So that basically means that me within my team, we all try to make sure that everybody who uses our software can do this optimally and can fully benefit from all the functionalities that Leadinfo provides. And that will also be what today is about. So a quick overview of what we'll discuss today. It's really going to be about how our features can help you to convert your leads, to track your current activities that you're running campaigns on. So not only how does a feature work, but also in which strategies it is wise to use which type of features that we offer. So let me get started. My colleague, she's currently in the chat, so feel free to ask any questions if you have them during the webinar. Of course, there'll be some time at the end as well for a Q&A session. But if you want to be helped immediately, feel free to ask the questions in the chat. All right, so the Leadinfo momentum lies around three different statements, which is identify, intent, and interact. This is a flow that a Leadinfo can help you with by eventually converting your leads. So how does this work? The identify is something that you've already been experiencing during your trial period. So within your trial period, what Leadinfo does is we identify the companies that enter your website and we show them to you within our portal. So that's something that you've already been able to see in the inbox to find an overview of all the different companies that enter your website and their behavior that they've shown. Eventually, it's up to you to make sure that you can qualify them and discover the intent of the different type of visitors. Because of course, there will be some visitors ready to buy and there will be some who are fully at the beginning of this journey. Using different features that we offer, such as segments or creating filters using triggers, will help you to find the correct leads at the right time to make sure that you can interact with them. And interacting is the part where you actively start reaching out to your website visitors. And this can be to gather information or to book meetings, to convert them into clients, can be with all different type of purposes and be done by all different type of methods. Today, our webinar will mostly focus on the third part of this momentum, so the interacting phase. How does this journey from Leadinfo look like, from a visitor starting to eventually becoming a new customer? Well, there are a couple of different steps that you can take. So first, we will always start with recognition and data. So that's the first step where Leadinfo helps you by recognizing who are actually the companies that visit your website. So what we do is we identify the business IP addresses that enter your website, and that's the whole business profile that you'll be able to view within the portal. We show you the contact section that also allows you to see which people, which employees are connected to this company so that you know who to reach out to. And the second part is qualification and automation. And this is where a lot of our features help you to filter out the relevant leads based on behavior that they've shown or on characteristics that you focus on as an ICP. Thirdly, we have the follow-up. And in the follow-up phase, then is the moment when you start using the information that is shown in Leadinfo to reach out to your customers. This is something that you can manually do using the contact section, or you can even fully automate this with our new feature, Leadinfo Autopilot. That's something that we'll definitely dive into further today. And lastly, Leadinfo can be used very effectively when you're using it from a marketing perspective by retargeting your visitors or creating analysis based on the website to optimize your website, to optimize your campaigns. There are a lot of different things that you can do in that section as well. Retargeting is something that we have a direct integration for with LinkedIn ads, but you can also use Autopilot and eventually analyze behavior with all different integration tools that we offer. So qualification and automation. As soon as you have the overview in your inbox with all the different leads, it's your now time to qualify them. Because there can be a lot of traffic, which some are irrelevant, which some are not yet ready to be contacted, and which some might already be known by you or by your organization. So it's a very good step to start with by segmenting and qualifying the leads that are entering your website. This can be done on a couple of different ways, depending on how you would like to work with Leadinfo. You can work from the Leadinfo portal itself. So basically meaning that everybody who wants to have access can be invited into your account. There is no limit on restriction on amount of users. So you can just send an invitation to everybody and work from the Leadinfo portal itself. The second option is connecting with your CRM system. If there is a specific CRM system that you work with, we offer over 70 different types of integrations, from a HubSpot to Salesforce, Pipedrive, all of the larger CRM systems we can directly integrate with. So what you can do is you can set up this integration in the settings of your portal and automatically send over relevant leads to be followed up by your sales colleagues. So you can send them over. Most of the time, it's also possible to create tasks for them or attach specific deals to these type of companies. And lastly, you can work from your email inbox. It's quite easy to set up automation within the portal so that you will receive email reports only with the relevant leads who've shown interesting behavior in your email inbox, in, for example, such a format as an Excel sheet. I'll show you quickly how these three different types of features work. And if you want to work with any of these, what's a good way to segment and to qualify within the portal first. So let me quickly move to the portal. So the first step to take, no matter on which of these three types of working with Leadinfo you're going to choose, is to make your segments. Because your segments is the way in which you can actually filter out the relevant leads from the irrelevant ones. You can find this here in the inbox at the bottom left. And a segment is basically an advanced filtering that you can set up based on characteristics of a company, behavior that they've shown, the way that they entered your website, or when you integrate it with a CRM, also based on properties within your CRM system. So if I click on creating a new segment, here you find an overview of all the different filtering that I can use. So I can use, for example, different types of characteristics of a company. For example, we focus a lot on companies, on marketing agencies that are different type of companies that we work with quite often. So I would say, for me, a relevant company is someone who operates in the branch for example, who's one of these. So I can also say it's marketing services. This one. You could add different types of filtering, saying, for example, that for me, someone who only visits my homepage for 5 seconds is not that relevant yet, because we often see that companies who visit your website for a bit longer, or in our case, visit our pricing page, are actually a lot more interested in our services than those who only visit our homepage for 5 seconds and then left. Most of the time, we notice that these are type of companies who are actually looking for something completely different. So it's a waste of my time and a waste of my colleagues' time to actively start reaching out to these type of customers. So for now, I would say, for me, a company who is in the marketing services and who have visited our pricing page is something that is relevant for me. So over here, you find all the different options to filter on your website activity. And in this case, I'm going to use page URL. and say somebody who visited my pricing page. This is a segment I can save for myself or for everyone in the team. I can provide a unique name to it, saying these are prospects for me. Save this one. And this is now a standard filtering I can use everywhere in the portal. So now for me, it's the moment to decide how I'm going to work with Leadinfo. If I have a CRM system, best way is to integrate with that. If not, and you are with a larger team, I would advise to definitely start working with email reports. If you're with a smaller team who are going to do the follow-up, then you can use the portal to basically track all the different visits, use the labels, the tags to provide statuses on what they're currently doing, and use the comment section so that multiple of you guys know what's happening with different types of leads. But for now, I'm going to show you all three. So first off, if you're working from the portal itself, then the comment section over here, this is the way where you can say if you already reached out to a customer, if you're in contact with them, or what's basically the status of this lead. Second way is I can use triggers to assign different tags. This is something that you've probably already seen in a product demo, so I'm not going to dive deep into this. If you'd like to know more about how these different types of features work and how you can set up a trigger, feel free to watch the demo or check our help center. There are a lot of different articles and videos that we have about this. So that's help.leadinfo.com to find more information about this. But you can also automatically assign tags to companies. For example, saying if some company meets my segment, so here's the segment that we just created together, then I would provide the tag hot lead daily, for example, or just hot. So now this is something that will automatically work. So for every company that visits the website, our software will check, does it meet my segment? And if that's the case, it will provide a tag. Well, if I'm working with a CRM system, this is the place where I can automatically send over the leads to my CRM as well. So over here, if a company meets specific rules, then I have the option to say I want to push this company to my CRM. You can attach a deal or a task to it and select the correct owner within, in this case, HubSpot. That's the CRM that we are working with. And the other option that you had was working with reports, with email reports. So if you're currently not working with a CRM system and you have a lot of different sales reps who are going to do the follow-up of the leads, my advice would be to start setting up these reports. Because with reports, you can, again, decide yourself what rules a company visit should meet. And based on that, send out automated email reports with Excel sheets every day or every week to the correct person. So for example, again, I can choose my own segments, or if you have divided the leads within your team on a different way, such as based on region, based on amount of employees, can be all different types of things, but you can use those to filter over here. And then say, for example, for us, Wednesday morning will be the day that we're going to work with Leadinfo leads. So every Wednesday morning, I would love to receive an Excel file via email with all the companies that visited the website the week before and actually meet my segments. So this is something that you can just fill in completely, save it up, and then this will run automatically so that you know that everybody who works with Leadinfo will automatically be basically notified that relevant leads are entering their website, and then you can make sure that it stays on everybody's radar to be on top of this. So these are the three different ways in which you can work with Leadinfo, and in which all of these different ways, my advice would be to start with segmenting your leads so that the most relevant ones will automatically be pushed onto your radar. And now we have the moment to interact with them. So we know which are the leads that are already interested enough to reach out to. And this is the moment where we're going to identify how are we going to do the reaching out part. And of course, again, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'll explain a few different ones and to give you more information about some tips and tricks on how to work with these different methods. So you can use follow-up via phone, via email, or either via LinkedIn. So if you see a profile, Let me quickly show you ours. Leadinfo. Over here, you will find the general phone number, email address, contact details to get in touch with. And if you scroll down, you will find the contact section where you will see some more relevant information about all the different employees working on there. You can filter on a DMU. So for example, if I would need the marketing manager, I can check that would be Michiel, and I will find his email address or his LinkedIn profile. If I choose to contact via phone, then my advice would always be to look into the contact section to search for the person you would need to sell your service or your product. And from there on, it's easier because then you have a name to pass the first gatekeeper. Next up, you can also use the email button over there to manually send emails to your visitors, especially if you're not that used to direct calling. Then sending emails can be a great way to bit more low-key reach out to your customers, but we normally see that the conversion rates with phone calls are often a bit higher. And thirdly, you can use the LinkedIn button over there to send a connection request, a message to anybody from within that organization to get in touch. Some few do's and don'ts if you start by calling. Well, as we just discussed, find the right person using Leadinfo Contacts. And then the next step is to make sure that once you reach out to them, be relevant. And there are a lot of different things that you can do to make sure that you are relevant. One is check out the pages that they viewed. So for example, if I look at a session from ours, and I can see somebody who visited our templates, then I know that they're looking on automatically following up leads. So if I would start about maybe like a marketing integration when I reach out to them, it's definitely not relevant to the person who made the visit. So that won't get my call as far as I would like to and have the result that I'm looking for. So make sure that you check out what is basically the behavior that somebody showed. Did they look on a specific product that you're offering on your website? Then definitely focus your conversation on that product instead of just randomly reaching out to them saying, hey, what can I do for you? So check out the pages. Also click through onto their website, their social media, or find out any news-related articles in the industry that they're operating in, because then you know what's happening and then you know the challenges that this organization is currently facing. So if you see, for example, a great example of a customer of ours who uses LinkedIn for this, is that what they do is they're in an employee engagement software. And as soon as they see an interesting company who visits their website, they're going to use that contact section to find the HR manager. But before they click on the button to give them a call, they will check the LinkedIn page of this company just to see what's going on. Did this company, for example, recently hired a new colleague? Then that's the hook that they're going to use to be relevant in the contact moment. So how they do that is when they start calling for the HR manager, they would just start the conversation by saying, hey, on LinkedIn, I saw that you recently hired this person. I'm really curious, how did this process go within your organization? And as soon as that conversation is up and running, they're waiting for the correct moment to hop in and explain them, all right, as I'm hearing it now, you probably invested a lot of time, resources, money to acquire this person. Of course, it's very great that you were able to in the end, but how do you now make sure that this person also stays on board? And that's the moment when their software becomes relevant. Because this company made a visit, which was not just 5 seconds on the homepage. They really did the targeting and the qualification the step before they reached out. Then they know that there is already a little seed planted within this organization before they're reaching out. And then as soon as they start by using this hook, it does trigger the correct person who knows that they're looking for a specific solution and is also able to make a decision in that. So that's definitely some tips that I would take on. And a few don'ts is don't look for the needle in the haystack. So what we mean with that is ask for the contact person that you're always in touch with. We're not allowed to track who made the first visit on your website. So often you don't know who made that visit, But if you're reaching out for the person who is responsible for your service, your type of product that you're offering, then if the visit was long enough or if they made multiple visits, then you know it's probably something that basically is going on broader within the organization. So either that person made the visit themselves or they know that it's something that they're currently looking for. And therefore also don't specifically mention the website visit. Be honest, but what we notice with our experience, what we see is if you start a conversation by saying, hey, we saw that one of your colleagues was on the website, how can we help? Then it still feels a little bit like Big Brother is watching you. And the first intent that people have to respond is basically to say, well, if there are any questions, then we can let you know, and it's okay like this. And that will result in a conversation which is not as effective as you hope to. So therefore, call with a reason. So find that hook which makes it relevant. A different example I can give in that matter is how we do it on location. So if we see an interesting agency, then what we also do is we check agencies that are nearby that we already work with. And if we find that, then in that contact section of the new agency, we're going to look for the marketing manager. As soon as we have that person on the line, then we start our hook immediately. So we don't wait within the conversation. But what we start with is just explaining that, hey, a few weeks ago, we were visiting this company, this agency. We saw that you guys are just around the corner. I was wondering, are you guys also already started looking into lead generation software? Well, basically they are, because otherwise they wouldn't have made that first website visit. But the reason that this is a hook that works for us is because what we saw within our own customer base is that these marketing agencies, they all know each other. So it provides a feeling of authority and immediately gives the new agency the feeling of like, hey, our neighbors are already doing this. We don't want to fall behind within the market. So they're interested, immediately triggered to dive into this subject further. So definitely call with a reason, because then you'll be able to trigger the person even further. Thirdly, you have the option to follow up via LinkedIn. So that can be done via few different ways. So you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator for this, but also in this contact section, you will find a direct link button of all the different employees. So if I would like to reach out to Michiel, I can click on this and then I immediately enter Michiel's LinkedIn profile. I can send him a request, a contact message, anything you would like. And this is something that we can, up to a certain level, also track. So if you set up a trigger in which you would say, it's not 100% watertight, but if you would say, when a company makes a recurring session, and this session is from LinkedIn, so this is a social post within LinkedIn. So if they just click through on LinkedIn, if a visitor meets these, then it can be absolutely a coincidence, but the chances are quite high that if you would start reaching out to people via LinkedIn after a first visit, then this is actually the person who clicked back onto your website. So now you, at least, especially for large organizations, if you start doing this, and you would see that, hey, if a person within a company meets these rules, then you can assign a trigger saying now they are sales qualified or they are a prospect, because now you would have a name to reach out to. And if you would reach out now, you'll be even more relevant than when you immediately start to pick up that phone. So this is definitely something I would advise, to be able to track a bit more what happens after that first reach out via LinkedIn. You can also use Sales Navigator for this. If you use Sales Navigator, you can make an export from Leadinfo and upload that within Sales Navigator to basically automatically contact a specific person, a specific DMU within Sales Navigator. There are a few tips that we also have for following up via LinkedIn. So know who to reach out to. That's the first one. So again, find the person within the contact section and use the interest shown on your website. So this is quite similar to when you would reach out via email, because if you know what they've searched for, you also know what struggles they have and where you can help them with. But within LinkedIn, it's very important to keep your message short and sweet. So be direct with your message, but make sure that you have one call to action. So if it's too large, then people will stop reading your message because there's not that much of a relationship built up yet between you and the receiver. And if you have a short message, which is open, has just one call to action, then you provide the viewer, the person you reach out to, with a reason to reply. And you will see that your conversion rates will become a lot higher. So this is how that works within Sales Navigator. So you can go to your accounts, upload a CSV file, and you can actually export this file within the export section here from our portal. Once you have the file uploaded, then you can choose any job titles, different people within that organization you would like to reach out to. So these were quite some manual steps that you needed to take on to reach out to your customers. With our new feature Autopilot, this is something that we can completely take off your hands. So by putting your lead info on Autopilot, we can automatically reach out to your website visitors using a direct integration with LinkedIn and email. This is currently an add-on on your subscription, but it's something that we've recently launched. So if you haven't yet seen this feature, you still have the option to test it out for free for 30 days to see if this is something that would help within your organization. The reason that we've built this is that we often receive the question that, okay, I see a lot of visitors on my website, I segmented the right ones, but now how can I reach out to them, especially if you have a lot of traffic on the website? I'll show you how this works. So you can automatically send emails or connect your LinkedIn. There are two different ways in which you can add leads into your Autopilot campaigns. One is from within the contact section. So that would mean that you would always keep the manual control in what will be sent over to Autopilot. So over here, you'll find an additional button. So if I, again, would head to our marketing manager, then I have a button to add him into a specific campaign. So this is the way which you would keep the manual control. If you would fully automate it, you can use our trigger section. So within the triggers, you will also find a new set of actions, which is add to a campaign. And in here, you can again select one of your campaigns and would say, so if a customer, for example, a visitor is within my segment, I can add them to my campaign. I can decide which person, which employee needs to be added. So for us, it would be someone from marketing, and it will automatically take the person with the highest decision level. And then I can say, when do I want my first step to start? Do I want them to, for example, be added into the campaign immediately, or maybe after a few hours so that they won't directly receive my contact request or my email? You can even say, I want to first review every lead manually who's pushed via this trigger into Autopilot. So then you still have a bit of control. Well, once this is set up, then you can start building your campaign within Autopilot. So in Autopilot, you would see an overview of all your different leads that are sent over, either manually or via the trigger, or even via an upload. So if you add leads over here, you can also say, I want to import them from a CSV file. That's definitely possible as well. And then we are going to start building our first campaign. You can use the template hub that we have for this, or start building from scratch yourself. And so what you can do is, as soon as a contact is entering my campaign, I can say I want them to, for example, receive an email. Over here, I can just connect my own email, set up the email, use a lot of personalization tokens as well to make the email very short, very personal, and provide them again with a reason to reply. So once I've added my text, I can add my signature, and then the email is set up. Well, the next step would be to add some LinkedIn actions as well. So for example, what I can say is, after, let's say, 3 days, this person did not reply on my email, then I would love them to receive a contact request from me via LinkedIn. Well, here I can connect my own LinkedIn. If you're going to set this up, by the way, for your colleagues. So if you're yourself for marketing, for example, this is a great way to help your sales colleague to receive relevant leads. So then you can also invite your colleague to connect his own LinkedIn or his own email so that the emails or requests will be sent out from his account. And then select the correct account over here. You can even attach a message to it, save this step, and go further. Well, if, for example, now I would add a reminder email, so if nothing would happen up on this moment, then they would still get a reminder email. That's definitely up to you, the way you would like to have this campaign built. It's also good to know that as soon as somebody does reply in your email, they will automatically be unenrolled for the campaign so that they won't receive a reminder email later. That would be just a bit unpersonal. But those are some settings that we already took care of for you. As soon as this campaign is running, then in the latest activity, I can fully track what is happening. So when I showed you the manual way to reach out to LinkedIn via the contact section, there was a way with the trigger in which up to a certain level, we could identify when they move back to your website from LinkedIn. Well, with a Leadinfo Autopilot, we can track everything. So what you will see is, let me just go to all our users. You will see when somebody opens an email, when somebody clicks back on your website, you will see it in the page views. All the different information over here is shown. And for example, now I can see that somebody received an email, and then if they opened it 4 times in a row afterwards, then that's a great moment for me to get in touch with this person. Because then I know it's definitely not coming out of the blue, and he already acted upon it. So this is a great way to automatically start that first interaction, and then from there on see at what point is somebody relevant enough to give them a call, or even before that they might have already reached out to you by replying on the email or answering your contact request or your message within LinkedIn. So again, feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to test this. It's something. Oh, we have some troubles. Let me see if I can open this up again for you. There we go. Yeah. Well, hopefully you will still all be able to see the slides. So the 3 different options that you can use within Leadinfo Autopilot, it's quite a new feature, so we're still developing and adding different additions that are requested by our users. But please reach out to us if you'd like to test this out. Yeah, it works. All right, so basically, this is all the different ways that I would have loved to show you today. However, what we often notice is if we provide you with all this information of the full journey from visitor to customer, is that there are some questions that are raised. So one is, I don't know where to start with my qualification. And that's something that we have made some different new features to help you with. So for example, the things that I told you is start building your segments for what is relevant for you. How did somebody behave on your website, or what characteristics they have? And the part of what is relevant for you is something that we can even take out of your hands. And we can help you with that by adding a lead score and an audience match. So a lead score, what is this? You might have already seen it during the trial, and it's also something that we explained during the product demo, but it's the thing that you see over here. And you will see that it has, it's basically something that is filled up to a certain level, and that provides a score to all the different leads that you have on your website. So if somebody makes a visit, the lead score is fully based on the behavior that is shown on your website. So if we see that a company, for example, this one, it's made just one very small visit onto the website, then it will still have quite a low health score, a lead score. If they come back even more, so such as that one, you will see a lot of different visits were made. If they make visits which are longer, then you will see that this is automatically getting more green. And then we know that's something that we can help you with by seeing, okay, if you don't really have that much time, then definitely start by reaching out to the customers which have a great lead score. This is something you can filter on here as well. And you can even use by filtering on your triggers, saying, okay, who do I want to automatically reach out to? That could be people who have a specific lead score. And then those can be automatically added to your campaign or sent over to your CRM system to be contacted by your colleagues. The other option that we've added for you to make this qualification even easier is the audience match. And this is a flame that you will see at some different leads, and it's this icon, this one. And how it looks like is basically it's a flame that we attach, and this is not based on behavior shown, but it's fully based on characteristics of a company. So we build an algorithm via machine learning that can identify who your ideal customer is. The way we do this is by looking at the tags that you have assigned to different website visitors. So if we see that there is a company who received the tag customer or even the tag hot or prospect, we will check which characteristics do these different types of companies have in common. And based on that, we will build your ICP. We will also use some negative tags, such as if you assign the tag not interesting to people, we will also take that information into consideration to build this ideal customer profile. And then as soon as there would be a new company visiting your website and our software can see that their customer profile matches your ideal customer profile, then we will provide this flame to the company, and then we will show you this is an audience match. So in the beginning, you can help this machine learning algorithm by training it. So if you would see a few matches, you can say if you would agree with them or not. Well, if you agree with them, then we would take this information again to place them more accurate. If it's not a match, provide this with a 1, provide your reason, and then the match will automatically disappear. So these are some different tools that we actually built within the portal to help you by making that qualification even easier. And from there on, you can start the third step, which was the focus of this onboarding, basically start interacting with them. So interacting is a twofold. The first part that we just discussed was mostly for sales reps to reach out to them, either manually or automatically via autopilot. But for marketeers, this is also a very important phase. There are some integrations that we have launched which can help you with that. And this is just a quick overview of them. So there's a LinkedIn Ads integration, for example, Google Ads, but also a Looker and Matomo integration for the analysis part. But firstly, I will focus on LinkedIn Ads and Google Ads. So how does this look? I will show you in the portal. If you navigate to the settings, at the bottom left, you will find an overview of all the different integrations. And this is where you can also connect your LinkedIn ads. And this integration with LinkedIn ads basically allows you to automatically retarget companies based on the filtering that you've created for them. So the first filtering, the segment that we have created together, was based on 2 different things. Let me show you. So this was based on the fact that somebody visited our pricing page and is a marketing agency. Well, a great way to start segmenting for making a division between marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads is by adding, for example, the number of employees. Because what you often see is companies with a lot of different employees, then it's quite difficult to reach out to the correct person. So I could say that if a company has, let's say, over 200 employees, then in this case, I want to save this, but now this prospects daily basically becomes the marketing qualified leads. So these can be easily retargeted via a trigger or via an export. If you navigate to the export feature, you can select your segment. And then you have the option to export for LinkedIn. Well, now it won't find any because this is something we just created. But I can export for LinkedIn. Then I can select the correct account that I've just connected and add them to an audience. So if you haven't yet built lead info audiences from our portal, then you can create a new one. So here I can create a new audience. But if you've already done so, then you can attach them to the audience that was built. And then we can automatically push these companies to LinkedIn Ads, LinkedIn Campaign Manager, to be added to your audience. And then you can start setting up campaigns attached to these within LinkedIn Campaign Manager. The other option is to do this via a trigger. So within the triggers, I can again select my segment and then say, if a company enters the website that meets my segment, then I would love them to be added to LinkedIn Ads. You can add them or remove them. Again, select your account and start first by creating a new audience, because this can only be added to audiences that were created within our portal. If you've already created them, then add them to an existing one. Once you start retargeting companies based on the website visits, then it's definitely a good idea to start adding UTM parameters to these campaigns. Because once you work with UTM tags, then we can also identify the behavior afterwards. So if they would, from your campaign, for example, click back on the website, then we're able to identify that and show you. So if you add UTM parameters to these campaigns that you're running, so all these retargeting campaigns, then you can use, again, the rule page URL, add the whole UTM over here. So say UTM source is LinkedIn and then Medium. You can add the full thing in there and then assign a specific tag. So for example, we had that first segment, which was basically marketing qualified leads. But as soon as there's a company who enters your website, it meets my segment and it's retargeted automatically via the LinkedIn Ads integration. If after that, the same person would click back on the website, then they would enter this UTM. So then I know who to reach out to. And that's a perfect way to send over leads as a marketeer to your sales colleagues. So then I could say, if this is the case, then I would love to add the tag sales qualified lead and immediately send them over to HubSpot for my colleagues to reach out to this person. Well, thirdly, what I would love to show you is another integration that we have, which is with Looker Studio. And Looker Studio is something that marketeers can use to build analysis. The reason that I'm explaining this to you is that because we have this dashboard, you've probably already seen this during your trial phase, but this dashboard provides you with an overview, a bit more high level of what is happening on the website. So it provides you information such as from which industry do your website visit operate in, how large are they, such different details. But it's not possible to filter or personalize this dashboard. And for that reason, we've built a template within Looker Studio, which is this one. And this template is something that we will definitely share with you after the webinar as well. But you can open this up. Then you have to give consent that Looker Studio will take your lead info data. And then you will see that this will be filled with information from your lead info account. And in here, you do have the option to filter. So you can filter on specific tags, such as the tag prospect for me, or if you're running a specific campaign and you have that UTM parameter, that you can filter on that tag as well, saying, okay, if companies visit our website based on the fact that they are interesting or they're not interesting, you can make analysis such as where do they come from, for example, or which search terms do they often use within Google Ads, which industries do they operate in. These are some quite relevant informations to have from a marketing perspective. For example, if you filter on the tag not interesting, and you would see which search terms they use, then you can filter out these search terms within your Google Ads campaigns and basically cut cost on running campaigns. Another way this can be used is to see, okay, companies who receive the tag prospect because they're interesting for me, from which industries do these companies operate in? And are there still some industries in there in which, for example, you do not yet have content on your website? So this is something that I would quickly love to show you because it's just a free tool of Google, so there are no additional costs attached to setting up this integration. And it's a very easy way to start making your first analysis. So this is something that we've basically just covered together. Yeah, so that was it for today. I hope this gave you some information in how to start working with Leadinfo, starting from identifying to engage, to interact with them, to make sure that you know how to reach out to your website visitors and eventually convert them into new clients, either from a marketing perspective or a sales perspective. Let me quickly check the chat to see if there are any questions from you still left. Let me see. It looks like everything is covered. All right, so then in that case, I would love to thank you for joining today. And if any questions appear later, feel free to reach out to us via support@leadinfo.com. Then we would love to help you further. But for now, I wish you a great rest of your day. Bye.